Now the next object that you have to capture the data for the employee. Business have decided to store all their employee information inside the Salesforce CRM. So this is the employee object and few fields that I have captured. Again, you can add on more fields based on whatever you feel good. For an employee, we have to capture the name of the employee, which would be a text, the employee ID, which would be auto number, the employee salary, which would be a currency, the employee type, which would be a drop down, I mean pick list, whether it's a permanent or contract employee, phone number, which is a phone field. I mean, like for India, it is like +91 and whatever number. Email address, it should be an email field. Email field basically like abc@something.com. That's a format of an email, right? So email should be an email field. And joining date. Joining date is basically the date when the employee has joined. These are the fields that you have to create in the employee custom object. So this is a pure admin job to set up these objects inside the Salesforce CRM. So now we will go and see how you as an admin can create these objects and with the fields. Okay. So this is purely an admin jobs, an admin activities. In the last videos, what we have seen as a business user, how you can use the existing system. Now we are going to learn how you as an admin will be going and configuring the system. So as an admin, you will have access to the something called to this setup. By the way, only the admin will have access to the setup, not the business user. So when you click on the setup, you see few configuration option, right? You see in the left hand side few configurations. We will explore this configuration, and these are the admin activities that you'll be doing. If you want to search anything in this quick find, right? So quick find is basically which will help you to search anything from this configuration. Okay, so there are two searches. Okay, one is this quick find. This quick find is to search any setting as an admin, and there's something called search, right? So this particular search, this is called global search. Okay, this is where you as a business user look for any records, or you can search anything over here. Basically, this is a global search, right? So let's say there's an employee you have created named Rajesh, or there's an outlet you have created named XYZ outlet, and you want to search that. You don't want to go to the object, look for the outlet or the employee. You can directly search here. It will immediately come if the object is searchable, right? We will see how to make an object searchable right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the first object, which is outlet. Okay, in order to create a custom object, again, one thing that you have to keep in mind, if something that is possible, if any requirement comes to where you have to capture the data, and if it is possible to use any standard object, please go ahead and use it. If you think standard object cannot be used, this is when you have to create a custom object, because custom object is not unlimited. Okay, and for an average project also, you will find there'll be like many custom objects. This is not like the only custom object that business will be dealing with, right? There'll be many custom objects that you have to create. Few custom objects that you will be creating as an admin, not for the business user, but for your purpose. Like maybe, what we do, I just helped a customer recently, and that customer had a lot of reporting requirement. Okay, and we capture most of the data in object, but for the reporting purpose, they're actually calculating so many business logic and capturing the data from different object, implementing their logic. So what we have done over there is we created another custom object in the backend, which was holding the after calculation data, and that object we are not exposing to the customer. We are just using that object to hold the data and to create report on that particular object. Right, so there will be many objects that you have to create in down the line to not for the customers, but for your business, but for your backend purpose, right? So make sure you don't create many custom objects. If it is possible to optimize creating custom object, you have to go ahead and do it. That's the best practice of an admin. Now we will learn those things also, how to optimize, how, let's say, you have to create two different type of data. Instead of creating two different objects, how can you as an admin hold those two different type of data inside the same object, right? That's what we are going to leverage later. Okay, so I'm going to go and create this custom object called outlet. In order to create a custom object, please follow the clicks, and you also have to do the same thing to create this custom object. So this system that we are creating, the skeleton, the object model that I'm creating right now, I would request you also to create the same to same object model. Maybe you can definitely add few more fields in the outlet, in the revenue, in the head office, and the employee object. Okay, few more fields that you can add on. First thing is you have to go to the setup to create an object, and anything that you want to do for a particular object, you have to go to this object manager. Let's say you want to create a field, you want to create any object, you want to delete an object, anything that you want to do for a particular object, you have to go to this object manager always. These are the objects that has already been created, right? These are like Salesforce created objects, right? You can suppose we have leveraged this object called account. We have leveraged object called lead, opportunity. If you want, you can search here the object, it will immediately come, right? You can go to this lead object and, create fields. Let's say we discuss in the lead section where business would like to capture the date of birth of the lead, and we don't have a standard field where we can capture the date of birth. So definitely you as an admin can go exactly in this page and click on new button and create that new fields in the standard object called lead. Okay. When you create new fields, these are the data types. We discussed about data type, right? What is data type? Data type is basically what type of data you are going to insert in that field is what the data type. So before even you create a field, you have to select the data type. So these are the data type that is available with Salesforce. We have auto number for the employee ID, head office ID, outlet ID. All these fields you want to capture, you have to use this auto number. Formula, right? Formula is a field, is a data type we use a lot. What will be the example? Let me give an example here. To understand the formula field, suppose in the employee object, you have a field called salary, not max salary, then you have a field called tax, then you have a field called insurance cost, and then CTC, I mean cost to the company. It's basically your salary, the employee salary plus tax plus insurance. So this particular field CTC could be a formula field where you are calculating this plus this plus this. So this will come dynamically, right? Whatever value you enter in the salary, whatever value you enter in the tax and insurance cost, based on that, this CTC will be calculated. So CTC would be an example for a formula field. We use this formula field a lot where, we have to calculate something and show it in the field, right? This is where formula field. We will discuss about this relationship things in the data type in the relationship chapter. There is another data type called checkbox. Let me show you this checkbox example, right? See, when we created the campaign, we had selected whether the campaign is active or not. Do you see this? This active field data type is nothing but a checkbox data type. Okay, but how do you check it? How do I go ahead and check what is the data type of this active field? I'll show you. You have to go here, same setup, object manager, because it's related to the object. Search the object campaign. Go to the campaign. We had two objects, right? Campaign and campaign member. Hope you have remembered the story of campaign member here. Go to the campaign. And this is the active field. Let me just search active. This is the active field in the campaign. Now, if you see the field label, the name of the field is active. The field name, label is basically what you see in the screen. That's called label, okay? The field name is basically the backend name, okay, which you would be using in your validation, in your Apex, or wherever you want to use this particular field. You have to use the name, not the label, okay? Then the data type. Do you see the data type is checkbox? Okay, so this is where you can find it out. Now we'll go back to my same page. We have checkbox, then we have currency. I think you understand, like the salary, the revenue, all this field data type would be what? Currency. And in Salesforce, we have a feature called multi-currency, okay? Let me just show you this feature. If you go to setup and look for company information here, this is the company information. And if you edit that company information, you'll see the currency, the local currency. By default, the currency will be always US dollar, but in case you want to change it, you as an admin want to change it. Let's say your customer is from India and you want to change the local currency as INR, you can go ahead and do this in this particular page. Or we have something called active multiple currency. Sometimes what happens is the business has their sales executive working from different countries. So if you want, you can actually enable as a business admin, as a Salesforce admin, you can enable the multiple currencies. And here you can give the currency exchange rate, like for $1 is equal to 71 rupees, right? That 71 rupees, that number you can give over here, and based on that it will automatically calculate. I'm going to create a separate video for this, how to enable the multiple currency and all. I'm just giving an overview here. Let's go back to the same page. Okay, now we have date. So employee has a field called joining date. These are the field we have captured for employee, right? Employee object has a field called joining date. This should be a date. When you create a field with a type called date, you'll be able to select the date from the calendar and all these things you can do if you select the data type as date. Now after the date it comes, let me close this other windows. Okay, then it comes date and time. Suppose you want to capture not only the date but also the time, the current time, right? So it will be a date plus time at this particular data type. Email is basically where you want to capture the let's say the employee's email, right? And it has to be an email format. Then you have to select this email as the data type. Geolocation is basically when you give the longitude and latitude, it just show you in a kind of a map where the location is basically. We have to use this geolocation. Number is a number field. Whenever you, let's say number of employee, right? We had gathered the requirement in the campaign where we captured a field called number of employee. This is the data type which fits for the number of employee. Then percent, if you want to let's say 10%, 20%, right? So if you want to create a field called profit and you are giving 10, it should come like 10%. Then you have to select this percent data type. Phone is again some standard validation comes in the picture, like phone has to be like 10 digit. If you select this phone as your data type, those standard validation comes in the picture. Pick list is when, let's say, employee type, a drop down, whether it should be a permanent employee or contract employee. So you have to select the pick list. Wherever you need this drop down kind of a field, you have to select the data type as pick list. Multi-select pick list. If you remember, we discussed a requirement where the menu should be a drop down where we can not only select, where we'll be able to select multiple values from the drop down. And if you want this kind of a field, you have to select the data type as multi-select pick list. We use this text area long and rich a lot. By the way, the difference between text area, rich and long is just the size of that field. Okay, if you create any field with a data type called text, you can have maximum, what is the number? I think maximum below 255 character is what you can have. Text area gives you little more extra bandwidth. Text area long gives you again little more. I think the bandwidth is this 131072. That these many characters that you can enter in the text area long. And text area rich, it's the size is same, right? 131072, but you can actually attach some images, some file with this particular field. For an example, let's say you want to capture the feedback, okay? And customer, you're not giving the access to the customer though. Your sales executive is supposed capturing the feedback of a customer. Okay, and he is typing a big paragraph, right? And he wants to take a selfie or take a photo and attach that to in that field. This is where you have to select the text area rich. And then finally we have text encrypted. So we use this text encrypted data type when exactly we have to create a password kind of a field. So you have seen the password is always like ABC *** or *** ABC. That kind of field, if you want to create, you have to use the text encrypted. And time is basically, for an example, suppose outlet. Outlet has opening time, closing time, correct? So the data type for that opening and closing time would be time, so that you can select the time, okay? URL, suppose employee or the outlet has its own website. Ideally, it will not have because it's a food chain, right? Company has the main website. But let's say employee has his or her own website, right? And you want to capture the website, so you can actually use URL. So benefit of using this data type called URL instead of text is If it is a URL, then this hyperlink will be there where you can click. It will take you to the particular website. Okay. So these are the data type that you get to see in Salesforce. And guess what? Any requirement that you get in a way, it could be anything, right? Any sort of data that you want to capture inside Salesforce, you will never feel that I should have something else apart from these data type. You know what I mean, right? So any requirement that you get to capture is definitely one of these data type will be the suitable data type or sufficient data type for or capturing that particular type of data. Okay. These many data types we have in Salesforce. So any field that you want to create, before you create a field, you have to select these data types. We have discussed the data type and how to create field, but we haven't created the object. So let's go ahead and create the object first. I'll go back to the object manager. Do you see this create object button, right? So click on the create and create object. Okay. You have to know few things over here in this page. This page is basically where you're entering the new custom object details, the name of the object. You see the label. I hope you understand what is the label. Label is basically what the user will be able to see in this screen. That's the label. And whatever the label that you provide here, that's become the object name. Object name is again same thing what you get to see in the UI. Okay. Then it comes plural level. You know what is plural level? Plural level is basically the tab name. You know what is tab? We already discussed this tab, right? But just to repeat it again, tab is basically the how do you access the object? You're going to create this object called outlet. And to access that object, you have to have a tab in place. So you as a business user will click on the tab, and then only you'll be able to create new data in this outlet object, or maybe you'll be able to view the existing data in that outlet object. So tab is the way to access the object from the front end. Okay. Plural level is nothing but the tab name. Ideally, we give like outlets as the plural level, but the plural level, I mean the tab name could be different than the object name. So you can give like KFC outlet and the object name is only outlet. Okay. But just to make sure we follow the standard practice, we give the plural level, I mean the tab name as just the plural label of the label name. Okay. So we are done with the label and plural label. This is the object name. Description is for the, so I as an admin, I'm creating the object called outlet. Now, who will see this page? This page will be accessed by the next admin, or only the system admin will access this page. Do you think the business user will click this, will go to the object manager and try to edit the object by themselves? No, they are not the technical person, right? We are the technical people. So we have to edit this object and all. Now, you can actually write some description. This is again a best practice that we should follow. For anything you create inside Salesforce, give a proper description, which will help the other admin, the next admin who will open this object to understand what is this object all about. Okay. Whenever you create a custom object, Salesforce will create few standard fields inside their object. What I mean is, I'm going to create this custom object called outlet. In this custom object, there will be a couple of fields already created. For example, the first field that you'll see already created is the name. So if the object name is outlet, then the name field would be outlet name. If the object name is employee, then the name field, the standard name field that will be already created would be employee name. Okay. And the name field, either it can be a text or you can make it as a auto number. You see auto number. Suppose you are creating the employee object and you don't want to, anyway, employee name is required. For every object you create, pretty much name is required field, right? But if you want to create this name as an auto number, not as a text, you can select this drop down as auto number. Okay. I'm just making it as name only. Now let's understand these check boxes, right? Any object that you create, end of the day, you might have to create a report out of that object, right? So whatever data that the object holds, you might have to create a report out of that object. So if you want to create a report from this outlet object, you have to check this box. We have discussed about activity in the activity management. And as I told you, activity is something, I mean, this new task, new event, log a call, and email, right? This is called activity. Activity can be a part of any object. So if you want activity also be part of this object, you have to use this checkbox called allow activity. Track field history. Let me give you a small example for this track field history. If I open any opportunity record, do you see one thing here, that stage history? So stage is a field, and initially when the opportunity created, the stage was maybe prospecting, then it changed to something else, then it again changed to something else, and then it become close lost. So if you want to check the entire history, you can check it out over here. To have this kind of history enabled, right, you have to go ahead and create this field history checkbox, and then allow in chatter groups, right? So if we have another feature called chatter here, right, chatter, and I'll talk about this chatter thing in a separate video. So in this chatter, if you want to involve this particular object in any chatter group, you want to involve this particular object, then you have to check this box called allow in chatter groups. Okay, these are the checkboxes which will help you to do some changes in the Apex coding. So just make sure you left these checkboxes checked. Okay, then it comes deployment status. Deployment status would be always deployed. Never use in deployment. It should be always deployed. And this is the allow search. We just discussed that if you want this object to be searched in this global search, you check this box. If you check this box, then any record that this object exists, that this object hold, you can actually search over here. Okay, so this object will be searchable if you click on this checkbox. And then it comes add notes and attachment, right? So add notes and attachment, I'm not sure if you have noticed this notes and attachment. Let me just show you again. If you go to the opportunity page, you see something called notes and attachment. So if you want to attach if business user suppose wants to attach any file or like PDF or any document, just have to you as an admin have to give this notes and attachment option to the business user, and so that they'll be able to click on this upload files and they can upload any files related to the particular record. And to enable that, you have to check this box called add notes and attachments. Next checkbox is launch new wizard. So this is important, right? I hope you can see my screen. I have zoomed it, right? So as we discussed that any custom object you create, in order to access that custom object, you have to have a tab in place. And now if I check this box and save, I will be redirecting to the page where I have to create the tab of this particular object. If you don't check this box, nothing will happen. What will happen is you have to go and explicitly create a tab by clicking on the setup and all. But if you want to create tab just in the next page for this particular object, check this box. Okay, I'm checking this box, clicking on save, and this is my create tab page. Okay, so let me show you here. This is called create tab page. Okay, so this drop down, okay, this drop down will just show you only those objects for which you have not created any tab yet. If a tab has already been created for a particular object, it will never come in this particular drop down. I just had created this head office object just to make sure that I don't do it in this video. I just created it, and that's why it is just coming over here as head office and outlet, because I have only these two objects where the tab has not been created so far. Okay, so I'm selecting outlet, and remember, whenever you create a tab, you have to select a style for the tab. I mean, you have to select a kind of a logo for the tab. I'll show you where the logo, let me select the airplane logo. Okay, so you can use any logo here and the color, and click on next. I'm creating the tab. Okay, please remember, wherever you find this profile, you can ignore as of now, because we have a big session on profile where we're going to discuss what profile is and how it works. But make sure that at least for system admin profile, things are checked, because the logged in user has system admin profile. So at least for the system admin profile, things are checked that you have to make sure, and then you can easily ignore this profile page. Let me go next. In this page, it is asking you whether to include the tab that you're creating in all the apps or not. See, these are the apps, right? If you click on these 9 dots, we have like sales, service, marketing. These are the apps. We're going to see how to create a custom app. These are the standard apps basically. Now, it is asking you in this page, do you want to include this tab in any of these apps? And let's say I just want to include this in the sales app. So I have selected the sales app. So this tab will be there in the sales application. Okay. Nothing else. So I had selected sales app where I want to include this particular tab. I just now created the outlet tab. But if you see in the sales app, it is not there. If I go to more, still the outlet tab is not showing. So basically, what happened is you have to go here in the pencil, right? And this pencil option will be there for the business user also. And if they want, they'll just go here, add more items. And for whatever object they have access to, they can object or tabs they have access to, they can actually, pin that tab over here. So I'm just searching outlet, click on this plus sign, add item, save. And now here I will have outlet tab. Okay. So this is how the tab can be created. And after you create the object, this page is called object definition page. Okay. How can you reach out to this page? Let me just show you again. Okay. I'll close this window. I'll go to setup from here. Once you go to setup, this is the object manager. And here you'll see all your standard object and custom object. I just now have created the outlet custom object. So I'll search here outlet, outlet, right? So if you search outlet, you'll see the outlet object over here. If you click on that outlet object, here you'll see all the details of the outlet object. The API name. What is the API name? API name is something you're going to use in your Apex coding, right? If you want to involve, right, this particular object in your Apex, you cannot use the name of the object. Okay. You have to use always the API name. Do remember, wherever you find something ending with __c, either it's a custom object or it's a custom field. Okay. So __c means a custom, and Salesforce automatically create it. So next object we are going to create is head office. So let's say if I'm creating head space office object, the API name for the head office object will be head _space __c. The space will be removed by underscore. Okay. That's all pretty much about the object detail page. Now let's go ahead to the field and relationship. Now we have to go and create all these fields, right? Whatever the requirement that we have gathered, we have to go and create all these fields inside the object called outlet. In order to create these fields in the outlet object, let's say outlet name. If you see, outlet name is already there. And the point that we discussed already, that any object you create, these 4 fields will definitely be there in any custom object that you create. The name, the honor, the last modified by, and the created by. This could be one of the questions that you can expect in the certification as well. So they might give you like 4 options, and you have to choose which one is not available as part of the standard field when you create a custom object. Correct. So created by, last modified by, outlet name. I mean, the object name is outlet, so it is like outlet name. When you create an object called head office, it will be head office name, employee name, and honor. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see how to create a custom fields. Click on the new button. If you click on the new button again, you'll see the same data type. So suppose I want to create a field called outlet ID. Let's create the first field called outlet ID. In order to create the outlet ID field, what will be the data type? Can you tell me what will be the data type here? Auto number. Yes. So auto number is something that I'm selecting as a data type. Clicking on next. When you click on next, you will see this screen. And here you have to give the, no, not employee. What is the field name? Outlet ID. Sorry. I'll just copy and paste the same field over here. When you say auto number, it has to have a format, right? And this is the format. So let's say I want to give the format as outlet 001. You see, this is the format. So you can define the format like however you want. It could be something hyphen, and the numbers over here. So it will be like 0, and start number you give as 1. So it will start like outlet hyphen 001. Second record when you create, automatically the outlet ID will be outlet hyphen 002, 003. Like that it will keep creating. You already know what is description, what is help text. Now let's click on the next button. And again, we got the same page where to select the profile. As in this page also, we have a different session. So ignore this page as of now. Click on save. I'm done with the field creation. I have created a field called outlet ID. And let us go ahead and create a new record. I'm going to create these fields offline. I'll not record this thing, but I'll create this offline and show you. But let's just go ahead and create a new record in this outlet object. So because I have created the tab, I mean, when you create the tab, you can search the tab over here also in the 9 dots. Search outlet. Click on new. See, I don't have many fields, okay? I have only one field called outlet name. That is also a standard field. And I'm giving a name as outlet 1. Any reason why I'm not able to add outlet ID here? Because outlet ID is auto number, right? So once you click on save button, see, this is the ID that has already been generated by Salesforce, right? By the system. So the ID will always start from 1. So outlet hyphen, this is the format that we had defined there in the outlet auto number, and that's the name. Okay. Now let me go ahead and create other these fields of outlet and see you in the next video.